Hey Tajmaholics! If you want to see how I go from a freshly washed frontal to a slayed sew-in, then keep on watching. You'll need got-to-be glued gel, a toothbrush, a rat tail comb, 2 duckbill clips, and any leave-in conditioner and oils you want to use. So let's get started. First, I started with my freshly washed hair, and I'm just putting the leave-in conditioner all throughout my hair so that it stays hydrated underneath the frontal. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this anti-itch oil because my hair tends to get super dry, so if I add this oil in, hopefully it won't be too itchy once my frontal is all glued down. So now I'm just going to start moving my frontal up to where I want it to be after it's been glued down, and I'm making sure that none of my hair is peeking through any of the parts on the frontal. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take my rat tail comb and comb my hair back so that when I start gluing the frontal down, none of the hair gets stuck in that glue. And I also forgot to mention that you'll probably need a blow dryer. But right now, I'm just adding more oil to the back of my hair because some of my hair is out in the back, and just pulling my frontal all the way back so that I can start applying the glue. Before applying the glue, I get my toothbrush and I start to brush back all of the edges that come up a little bit more on my forehead, just to protect it a little bit more against the glue, and just in case it shows through the frontal, I need to make sure that those edges are fully laid. Once everything is brushed back, I use a small makeup brush to start applying the glue to my forehead. I personally just don't like to have the glue on my fingers. I don't like how it feels, so having a makeup brush is completely optional. I'm just a little bougie sometimes. Once that first layer is all the way around my forehead, I go ahead and put my blow dryer on the cool mode and just start blow drying the glue until it's completely dry. Once that first layer is completely dry, I go ahead and go back in with the glue again, and I put on a second layer. As you can see, the glue is starting to look a little white, and that's because the leave-in conditioner is just mixing with the glue, but that's okay. The frontal is going to cover it, and if it dries white, you can just take it off with a Q-tip and some water. But with that said, most of the time it dries clear, so there's really nothing to worry about. So after I've put that second layer on, I'm going to go ahead and take my frontal and inch it all the way up to where I just applied that glue. And then I'm just going to try and secure it. So I'm going to take my rat tail comb and gently push down on the frontal so that it in a way melts into my skin. So the camera is not close enough for you to see, but as soon as I lay the frontal down, it kind of just blends right into my skin. But just to make sure it really stays down, I'm going to take my blow dryer again on the cool setting and start drying the glue with my frontal laid down on my forehead. As you can see, my baby hair is starting to come through a little bit, but that's not really a big deal because once I lay the baby hairs that are on the frontal, they end up blending together, so it really doesn't matter. For some reason, the frontal just wasn't sticking down, so I had to go in with a third layer of that glue, but that's very odd for me to do. Most of the time, the 2 layers are just fine. So once the frontal is pretty much glued down, I go ahead and really make sure that the ends of the frontal are super stuck because those are the parts that rise the quickest. And then I go and take my rat tail comb and start to pull out my baby hairs. Now that all of my baby hairs are out, I'm going to pin my hair back out of the way and get some water on my toothbrush and just start swooping my baby hairs. This is the same method I use with my natural baby hairs as well. It's really just a swooping motion. I don't know how else to explain it, but you really just swoop until you see your baby hairs doing what you want to do. So I just showed you that you can either use the Got2b gel or the Gorilla Snot glue for this particular baby hairs tutorial, I guess. But whenever I first put my frontal down after it's been lifted or after I wash my hair, I use the Got2b glue. And then once my baby hairs start to lift a little bit more, I'll go in and like touch it up with the Gorilla Snot. So if you want to use the Gorilla Snot the first time, then that's fine, but I use the Got2b glue just so it stays down a little bit longer. At this point in time, all I'm doing is swooping my baby hairs the way that I like and the way that I want them to set and stay once the glue has dried. So how you do this part is completely up to you. It's how you like your baby hairs. Everyone likes them differently, so you don't have to go straight by what I'm doing. Once I see that my baby hairs look how I like them to, I go ahead and take my scarf and put it on, and I make sure that I just tie it down very tight just so that everything will be laid once I take the scarf off. I never really set a timer for how long I leave my scarf on, but if I have time, I'll just leave it on while I do my makeup, which takes about 20 minutes, or if I'm rushing, I'll go ahead and grab a blow dryer just to speed up the process because sometimes I just don't have time to wait for it to dry.
2 hours later.
Once the drying process is done, all I have to do is take off my scarf, comb out my hair a little bit, and I'm ready to go. So this is it. This is the final look. But then I decided I wanted to show you guys that once it's glued down, you can go ahead and change your part. You can go ahead and do half up, half down. You can really do whatever you want once this frontal is glued down with the Got2b glue gel. All of the products I use can be found in the description box below. If you would like to see how I styled this hair or trained my part, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below as well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.